All right. Good morning, everybody. That was almost good enough. Good morning, everybody. All right. We got to be ready to yell all weekend in Baltimore. Thank you for joining us on this Orioles Playoff Friday. And before I begin, I want to thank a few folks who are joining me for today's announcement. National Minority Supplier Development Council CEO, President Ms. McGuire, for being here. Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council CEO, and no stranger to Baltimore City Hall, Ms. Sharon Pinder, Donald R. Cravins, Undersecretary of the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. I want to always welcome all of my cabinet leaders here, but also our wonderful state delegate in Scott Phillips. Mr. Delegate, always good to see you. Speaking of which, I'm excited to share that as a part of their efforts to accelerate minority business growth and advance economic equity, NMSDC and the MBDA are collaborating to bring this year's annual NMSDC Annual Conference and Exchange and MBDA National Minority Enterprise Development MED Week to Baltimore, October the 22nd through the 25th. All of us in Baltimore are incredibly excited to host this historic event this year. We know these organizations are leading organizations for minority business development, and their decisions to hold their events in our great city is a testament to the emphasis that our city has placed on advancing minority business growth. We've expanded and redefined how we approach this work here in Baltimore. Earlier this year, we combined two of our offices, the Mayor's Office of Minority Women-Owned Business Development and the Minority Women Business Opportunity Office, to become the new Office of Small and Minority Business Advocacy and Development, which led Mr. Lundy from going to be Chief Lundy to Director Lundy, the first director in the agency's history. I think that the advocacy portion of their mandate is still critically important, because that's what so many of our minority-owned entrepreneurs need. Advocates who will work with them as they work to overcome the hurdles that we know they will face. And to do that, we need to work with partners like the ones that we have here today. NMSDC's work is about uplifting upward mobility for our communities and creating opportunities for an equal shot in entrepreneurship as a way to advance economic equity and build generational wealth for communities of color. And the Minority Business Development Agency, MBDA, is the only federal agency dedicated solely to the growth of and competitiveness of minority businesses. While the MBDA has existed as a temporary agency since 1969, 2 years ago, President Biden signed into law the Minority Business Development Act of 2021, making MBDA a permanent federal agency for the first time in its history, which is another the collaboration that they have putting together a conference like this reflects the important role nonprofits, private corporations, and government entities play in promoting business diversity. This conference will convene high-level federal partners to engage in important policy discussions, focus on accelerating growth for minority businesses, provide a more effective platform to educate companies and minority business enterprises on business development and contracting opportunities in emerging industries, and federal programs that that support both business growth, and most importantly, it's going to bring small business owners together to network and share ideas, because if anybody goes to conferences, it's normally the conference, after the conference, sometimes during the conference, when much of the stuff and much of the information is shared. I may or may not be known for having the conference during the conference when mayors get together across the country. And we'll do all of this right here in the city of Baltimore. This will be the first opportunity Baltimore has had to host this combined conference, and it's an honor that reflects our dedication to champion diversity and inclusion in the business world, and we hope that the conference always chooses Baltimore as its home. Had to add that in there. I'm incredibly excited to be able to welcome all of them to Charm City, to have them boost our local economy and to nurture lasting partnerships between our own vibrant minority-owned businesses here in the city of Baltimore. So again, on behalf of the entire city of Baltimore, let us say welcome and thank you. We'll make sure that you all enjoy the best seafood in the world, because once you had it here, you shouldn't eat it anywhere else. We'll make sure that the folks at the convention center treat you right and put Obey on everything, because this is Baltimore. But we look forward to having the conference here, and we know it's going to be successful in showcasing how we can be better by supporting our minority-owned businesses. And with that, I will welcome CEO McGuire to the podium. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I had my fair share of crab cake with Old Bay seasoning yesterday in Little Italy of Baltimore. Thank you, Mayor Scott, for your kind introduction. My sincere gratitude to you, Mayor, for hosting this press conference and for your dedication to minority business growth. NMSDC is very excited to bring our annual conference and exchange and MBDA, National Minority Enterprise Development Week, to the birthplace of the American National Anthem. Special thanks to our partners, Undersecretary Don Cravins of MBDA, Sharon Pinder of Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, and the City of Baltimore for your partnership and leadership. NMSDC, over 50-year history, has been a catalyst for business growth among entrepreneurs of color. Our impact goes far beyond supply chain. It creates upward mobility for the emerging majority of Americans, an equal shot at participating in the American experiment of free market capitalism and entrepreneurship. We achieve this mission by certifying minority business enterprises, equipping them with the resources, and fostering connections between MBEs and corporations, MBEs and the public sector, MBEs with MBEs. NMSDC certified MBEs make substantial economic contributions. In 2022, we generated $316 billion annual revenue, $482 billion economic output, 1.8 million jobs. Thank you. We grow job creators. We grow job givers. However, $316 billion, think about it, while impressive, represents only little over 1% of US GDP, given that minority communities make up about 40% of the population and are projected to become the majority of America by 2045. There's immense untapped potential for MBEs in driving more significant portion of the US economy. Growth for minority-owned businesses is growth for all. The realization catalyzed our pursuit to propel NMSDC certified minority businesses to achieve $1 trillion in annual revenue. The changed demographic landscape underscored our shared economic imperative to develop minority businesses to shape America's future. The 2023 NMSDC Conference and Exchange and MBDA Met Week spans 4 days of invaluable access to inspiration, to knowledge, resources, capital, relationships, and contracting opportunities for attendees. It brings together over 5,000 corporate leaders, minority business owners, policymakers, and capital providers, visionaries, and innovators to propel the growth for MBEs, delivering an estimated $40 million economic impact to this community. Thank you. This is more than just a gathering. It's a commitment to economic prosperity and equity and growth, not only for the Charm City, but all across the nation. Our partnership with MBDA and the Regional Council and City of Baltimore underscores our shared dedication to advancing minority businesses and championing equitable economic expansion. I would like to realize the incredible work of our team. We got Lisa and Stefan, and our production company, ABCD, and the company is Maryland-based Black-owned business. Their creativity, Jared's right here. Their creativity and the dedication has set the stage for an exceptional conference, I promise you. So if you're not already planning on attending, I personally invite you to join us. And if you are planning to attend, I look forward to seeing you there. And we have some corporate members from MT Banks here. Together, we will begin building a more resilient and a thriving economy that ensures no one is left behind. Thank you so much. With that, I'm going to propose a selfie. And with all of you in the background. And would you come to do selfie with me? Who has a longer arm that can execute? You have a longer arm? Okay.
The mayor is younger. He probably can do it better than me.
Okay, everybody smile, okay? Everybody smile.
You gotta come this way. Come this way. All right. Too tall. All right. All right. There we go.
Awesome.
Well, that's hard to follow. We should have put Ying last, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Cravins, and I have the honor and I'm blessed to serve as our nation's first Undersecretary for Minority Business Development at the Department of Commerce. Let me first of all just thank Mayor Scott and his team, his leadership. He has been a champion on business issues and specifically focused on the unique barriers and systemic challenges that people of color, Black people, minority business owners face in our country. And so congratulations, Mayor, on all your hard work. As you know, we got plenty of more work to do, but thank you for your leadership. I also want to thank Ying McGuire and her colleagues, her leadership at the National Minority Supplier Development Council, NMSDC. Ying has been a game changer, especially in the areas of supplier diversity and reminding corporate America how important it is for them to diversify their supply chains, to do business with women-owned businesses and diverse-owned businesses, that it's not only good for their business, it's good for the country, and it's good for the communities these businesses come from. So I want to thank Ying for her leadership. And last but not least, Ms. Sharon Pinder, the CEO of the Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, just a tremendous leader in her own right. In addition to running the Capital Region Minority Supplier Development Council, I'm proud to say she also runs the Virginia MBDA Business Center. And so she is just a tremendous leader in so many facets. This year marks the federal government's 40th annual National Minority Enterprise Development Week, also known as Med Week. The Minority Business Development Agency is honored to be able to mark this historic event in the city of Baltimore alongside the NMSDC. For those of you who are not familiar with the MBDA, the Minority Business Development Agency, the mayor gave you some history there, but we are part of the Department of Commerce, and we are the only federal agency we've got one mission, tough mission, bold mission, but one mission, which is the growth and global competitiveness of minority business enterprises. And so we do that to help minority business enterprises as well as other underserved and unserved communities. Our mission has two facets to it, though. We help expand access to opportunities for individual businesses, and we also work to improve the system in which those businesses operate. We provide technical assistance and business support services to individual businesses throughout our national network, which now consists of 131 business centers and grant programs. This includes, as I said, Ms. Pinder in Virginia, but here in Maryland, that includes our Maryland Business Center, which is located just a few blocks east of here on North Charles Street, and our Baltimore MBDA Advanced Manufacturing Center, which is operated by Mayor Scott's Office of Small and Minority Business Advocacy and Development. So when I said he's been working on these issues, I meant it. And so all of these centers, all of our 131 centers, they work hard each and every day to help minority business owners, other people who are unserved and have been unserved, people who want to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, but were never given straps and don't know what size boots they need to wear. That is what we do, and we get results. Last year, we helped secure over $1 billion in capital for businesses, $1.6 billion in contract deals for minority-owned businesses, and hundreds of millions of dollars in exporting deals as well. Now, it's not a coincidence that we chose Baltimore and NMSDC to host our events jointly this year, the NMSDC Conference and Exchange and MBDA's National Med Week. We did so because both organizations recognize the tremendous economic opportunities that's facing our nation right now due to the investment by President Biden and Vice President Harris in our infrastructure. Also due to the investment of private sector companies who are saying we want to invest more in our infrastructure. We also recognize, though, that if our nation is going to experience the full potential of all of these investments, we will need a more equitable economy. And the mayor talked about this as well. An equitable economy is one that can provide support to everyone based upon their needs. One that embraces the fact that some people, different businesses, different individuals, different families, different communities face different challenges, and that some people have more obstacles in their paths than others. For every American business owner to have a real shot, a real fair chance at this opportunity, we must address the obstacles that people still face in 2023, and we have to continue breaking down those barriers. By doing so, we will create and sustain more businesses, more jobs, greater competitiveness and innovation, and stronger supply chains. If our nation closed the opportunity gap between minority and non-minority businesses, we would add an estimated 2.5 million businesses, 20 million jobs, and $6 trillion in gross revenue. That is what we're missing out by still having these inequities, this equity gap, as Ms. McGuire calls it. This imperative, fixing this, addressing this imperative is greater and more consequential right now than in any other time in our organization's histories. So that is what we're going to focus on at this conference. That is what we're going to work on October 22nd through the 25th, bringing together thousands of business owners, public officials, organizations, advocates, and stakeholders. We are going to highlight the once-in-a-generation investment that the Biden-Harris administration, the state of Maryland, the city of Baltimore is making in our communities. We're going to spotlight the private sector investments as well. But we're also going to recognize and honor those minority business enterprises that are top in class and doing great things. But we will also address, let me be very clear, we are also going to address the assault on equity in this country, and we are also going to address the inequities that minority business enterprises continue to face in this nation. So MBDA, I'm in on a positive note. MBDA is excited, Mr. Mayor, to be here. We're grateful to join forces with the National Minority Supplier Development Council, the City of Baltimore, and all of our businesses and stakeholders throughout the nation. And we're so proud to be able to host this event to guide our nation, bringing us one step closer to an economy that works for everyone. So thank you so much. I'm looking so forward to seeing you on October 22nd. And again, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for hosting us this morning.
I don't know whose idea it was that I would follow Don Cravins. You know, he's a drop the mic kind of secretary, right? But good morning. It is good to be back home. And when we talk about the rich history of the minority business movement in this country, Baltimore is at its core. So, Al, I know Visit Baltimore did an outstanding job in the recruitment of this conference, but I believe that NMSDC's decision to host it here in Baltimore was greatly influenced by its steep history in the minority business movement. Given the current challenges, and let's be real, the current challenges faced by minority business programs at this point in time nationwide, and our proximity to Washington, D.C., the move to hold it in Baltimore is very timely. Our region is the home of some of the most iconic and historic figures in the nation's minority business movement. Leaders and legends such as Reginald F. Lewis, who in 1987 became the first African American to build a billion-dollar corporation. Henry Parks, who in 1969 led the first African American firm to be on the New York Stock Exchange with Park Sausage. With, of course, Congressman Perrin J. Mitchell, the father of the historic MBE legislation that changed government contracting forever, and that is what's being challenged. And of course, Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, the greatest jurist ever. And what would he think about what's happening today? Minority businesses have always had a sense of community, and the combination of the National Minority Supply Development Council and the Minority Business Development Agency brings a sense of community with us, with over 5,000 people converging on this city. Baltimore City has long been a part of the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council, while we serve the entire state of Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Virginia. Our economic impact to this region has been over $7 billion in annual revenue, over 50,000 jobs, and we employ 65% of minorities in the region. For 50 years, we have had a long-standing relationship with the business community through our corporate members, some of whom are here with us today. I think I see, and I hope I don't miss anybody, SAIC, Constellation Energy, AstraZeneca, the Hilton, M&T Bank, and I'm sure it's others. But through our corporate members and through our minority business community, during this conference experience, and that's what it is, an experience, we will leave a lasting impression that will indeed be a vital part of the community while we're here. Enhanced by the NMSDC community-based project, we will provide 2,000 kits to the homeless. During this 4-day experience, we will also adopt Maryland's 4 HBCUs, engaging the next generation of minority entrepreneurs. And guess what? Through the generation of a minority business, some of them will receive scholarships, but President Ying was focused on, let's focus on Maryland HBCUs. So we engaged the local business community. I know Ying had this back of the envelope amount that she came with, but through the use of local businesses, I see 21st Century here today, products and services, et cetera. This conference may last for 4 or 5 days, but the impact will be everlasting. And so I also want to thank the CRMSDC team that's here and everyone that has been a part of making this magic happen. I hope that you will engage. It will be something that we will continue to talk about for years to come. Thank you.
All right, questions, anybody? All right, thank you very much. There we go.